Hello and welcome to Wait for Real.
A true crime and paranormal podcast. I'm Grace.
And I'm Katie.
And I was just doing a nice voiceover for Katie there beforehand where I was clearing my throat because I've been sick as a dog.
Yeah, she's going through it.
I am. We almost didn't have an episode this week, guys.
I know, I thought maybe that was a possibility. I was like, you know what? It happens.
The show must go on,
The
even though I
show
probably sound
must.
like a 80-year-old man who smoked 10 packs of cigarettes a day.
No, comparative to like other episodes where you've sounded
My
sick,
allergies?
yes, your allergies. Like, I'm like, you sound almost normal to me.
Thank God. No, my allergies have been so jacked up, but I need to get on like allergy shots, but that just seems like
Yeah.
so much work because you got to go do that whole panel thing and like I don't want to
Ugh.
know, you know?
Yeah, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Can you just give me a shot of Benadryl? Like is that not a thing?
I don't think so.
I took Benadryl for the first time this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, it did not work for me. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it didn't do shit.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's supposed
Well,
to like clear shit up or
I'm wondering if it's genetic because I have family members that like can't take Benadryl. It doesn't do anything.
lame.
I know. It is lame.
You
Sorry.
need all the
Anyways,
medicine
guys,
you can get.
I'm surviving, not thriving.
It's
But
true.
what else is new? When am I ever thriving actually?
We'll report back when that's happening.
Yeah, right? Oh man. No. So you said that you had something you wanted to cover real quick?
Yes, okay. So I recently learned that it is Ghost Month right now. And I'm going to tell
September?
you right now, yeah. So it starts August 23rd and it goes to September 21st. And this is observed in Chinese cultures. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
7th month of the Lunar New Year, and it's known as Ghost Month, where they have the Hungry Ghost Festival, which takes place on September 6th. And during the festival, it is believed that the gates of hell or the underworld are opened, allowing hungry ghosts or lost souls to roam around, visiting their families or seeking out victims among the living. So, there are a lot of things you're not supposed to do. I'm going to tell you guys
Oh
now.
shit. Okay.
So, avoid wearing plenty of red, black, and white. So, you're already out.
I
You
wear
love you
the
love to wear
blanket.
black. But you love to wear black.
Shh.
Avoid swimming.
Done.
You're like, I'm on it.
Don't want to.
Refrain from major surgeries.
Okay.
Avoid buying a condo or a house.
Good thing I don't have money.
Yeah. Steer clear of signing contracts.
Okay.
Avoid construction or digging activities at home. So, no digging, Grace.
Thank God.
Avoid hiring new employees for companies.
Oh shit.
Refrain from courtship or getting married.
Another thing to not have to worry about. Whew.
Avoid whistling. Avoid staying out late at night. Avoid shouting. Avoid taking photos after sunset, and
Ew, I
avoid
hate that.
avoid hanging clothes outside at night. I also saw like you're not supposed to take pictures like mirror selfies.
Oh, no, I don't know why that scared me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're very welcome. But it's great because now we're kicking off the spooky
Spooky
season.
season. Oh my gosh, everybody is trying to get me to go to Halloween Horror Nights. And I'm like, do they not understand who I am?
If you go to Halloween Horror Nights, you will surely leave with a broken bone. I am sure of it.
I'm not going to Halloween Horror
No,
Nights.
you would
Katie,
hate it, Grace. You would
I would never
literally hate
go.
it. Yeah, I
At
know.
what point would that be a good time for me?
Listen, I've done it. I've tried every scary thing that you could think of, thinking that it will be different every time. And let us not forget that several years ago, when Grace and I were doing a drive-through scary thing, I tried to climb into her lap in the back seat because
That
someone
was
was coming too
so
close to the
bad.
window. I'm like, the fear is real, you guys. We are
Yeah.
not built for that.
Well, so I know someone who did it's like the backstage tour, but it's during the
Mm-hmm.
day. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see like how it's all set up. And I'm like, I couldn't even do that.
No, I
Even with the
can't.
lights on, no jump scares. No, I still don't want to be there.
I'd still be so paranoid that something is going to get me.
Mm-hmm. And I've been on like the side of TikTok of it too. Well, people have been sending it to me as like a, come on, you would have fun. It'd be so funny to watch you go through a haunted
She
house. I'm like,
wouldn't. She would not have fun.
I'm glad that I would be funny for everyone else, but also
Yeah,
at the same time, I'm pretty sure I would have a heart attack. Like I'm
you would.
already a ticking time bomb here. Like I got the sniffles and I was down for the whole weekend. Like
Yeah.
I can't come back from that.
Mm-mm.
You honestly could not pay me to go to Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, wait. Let's rephrase that. I probably could be bought,
Everything has a
but
price. Okay?
everything
Let's
has
be
a
real.
price. Moral of the story is though, you're not gonna catch me there ever. And someone's
Wait,
like, you can put the necklace on that says that you won't be scared.
when I was at this, I went to this thing called C&E, which is like this giant carnival. I was telling Grace about it earlier. And
Yeah,
people, they're like vendors. So like there's this warehouse and it's a bunch of vendors. And so like even major vendors, home renovation people, like it's just like a lot of people and they are all trying to talk to you and sell you things. And I had to be like, at Halloween Horror Nights, they give you this necklace where you can wear it and it'll tell scare actors that you don't want to be scared. And I'm like, I want that, but like, don't talk to me, you know? Like, don't
literally.
do not approach, like, not nice, like
Not nice, will bite.
will bite, yeah, like don't talk to me. Also, those necklaces are just a suggestion. It doesn't mean that they won't scare you.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought they were sold by Universal. Maybe
they
not.
are sold by Universal. SeaWorld has the same
Oh,
ones,
it's
but
probably
like
like a
you can,
liability thing too, though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like also they might not see it right away.
Bitch, I ain't going.
No.
So if I had
No,
that
you
thing
would
on, I
need
would
it.
have it taped to my forehead. Like you would have to see
You're
it
like swinging
to
it
see me.
around. You're like, back off.
Literally, I would be like, fuck everything about this.
Oh my
And my
gosh,
cat's
that
making
is
an
so
appearance.
funny. Pancake.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I would be very unwell if that was me.
I
But
definitely had something else that I wanted to bring up and now I forgot. But
maybe
that's
this
okay.
episode will spark your memory.
Probably not, but when I
You'll have a
remember,
remembery.
I'll have a memory.
A remembery.
That's funny.
Okay, so for this week's episode, it's pretty short, but I think it's interesting because
Okay.
it's something I never heard of before.
Hmm.
So, the story today, what I'm going to be talking about is a person who went missing who was then later found dead, and the case remains unsolved to this day. And this happened back in the 1980s.
Okay.
So, first things first, who are we talking about? So, the person we're going to be talking about here is Dorothy Jane Scott. She was born in April 23rd of 1944, and she grew up in Stanton, California.
Hmm.
So her parents live in Anaheim. She was living in Stanton at the time of her disappearance, and that's usually like 20 minutes away from one another, so it's not too far. I will say though, she was born in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, which is near where I lived.
Oh.
Yeah, so fun fact of that. So, a little bit of context about her. She was extremely quiet. She was very responsible. She was religious, a non smoker, non drinker, did not do any drugs, and she very rarely dated. So, with all of that being said, a couple of things. One, she was a single mother of a 4-year-old son named Sean. So, he was 4 years old at the time of her disappearance. And during um, during this time period, she was living with her aunt. I'm trying to pull up to make sure I have the right names. Do 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 do. It was her aunt in Stanton, California, and like I said, that was 20 minutes from her parents' place. So for her career and what she was doing, she was a bookkeeper. So she ran the numbers and things for 2 stores that were jointly owned. One was called Swingers Psych Shop, and the other was Custom John's Head Shop. So the psych shop was psychedelics, things along
Okay.
those lines. A head shop is going to be things you usually sell to smoke weed and do the like so bongs and pieces and things like that. Very hippy dippy culture, whatever. Um, and those businesses were owned by an individual named John Kiola. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but regardless, he actually purchased those businesses from Dorothy's father.
Okay.
So Dorothy worked there whenever her dad owned it and now works there as the bookkeeper when John owns the businesses.
Right.
So, context as to who is Sean, the 4-year-old's dad. So, the 4-year-old's dad, his name is Dennis Terry, who was living in Fairgrove, Missouri at the time of her disappearance. Dorothy was really quiet about the relationship, essentially, that she got pregnant while she was on tour with an all girls band. Um,
Cool.
and she was in this relationship with the dad and then got pregnant. And when she moved back home, she really didn't speak much about the relationship or talk about, what had happened, etc. And there's speculation depending on who you are reading your sources from, but basically Dennis and Dorothy had fought over custody of their child several times. She had sole custody of Sean for the first 4 years of his life, and then supposedly he was coming in and trying to say, I wanted to take custody of him, like, you've had him, it's my turn type thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, super messed up. What, like, I'm not surprised. So basically, she had not dated really or had anything serious with anybody since having Sean.
Hmm.
Again, very devoted to her life, staying home, spending time with her family and her son, just being like a wholesome mother, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens? Let me pull up the timeline here. Excuse me, my nose is running.
We'll let it slide.
So, thank you. So, in 1980, early 1980, she started receiving phone calls. So, these phone calls were either coming to her at work or to her house. Because remember, this is the early 80s. No one has cell phones. No one's really like texting each other, hey, girl, what up? It's
Yeah.
all house phones, landlines, that situation. So, someone's quoted saying that Dorothy had been receiving unsettling phone calls for months. Sometimes
Hmm.
the voice on the other end was very loving, telling her how much that he adored her and proposing marriage, but other times the tone had shifted into more of like rage and menace. Um, and it sounds like this person was full on stalking her. And when I say full on stalking her, this is something where this person was telling her the outfits that she was wearing every day, knew her whereabouts she was going to the store, when she was going to work, when she was going home. Um, this person knew everything about her. So she at first was like, okay, somebody's playing a prank on me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it got more serious as the tone got threatening. So on
Hmm.
one occasion, um, she received a call from the stalker, and he had told her that he was going to kidnap her, cut her up into little pieces so no one else could have her.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then also there was one instance where, because again, she had like brought it up to her parents and they were obviously concerned. But again, this wasn't a time frame where people were just, and like, I don't know what they were thinking or what they weren't thinking because they didn't really go to the police right away.
Right. Yeah.
But she was actually working one day and she received a call at work, and the gentleman had said, I left you a present. You need to go out to your car. So she goes out
Mm.
to her car,
Mm-mm.
and he had left a single dead rose on the hood of her vehicle.
Fuck everything about this.
Yeah. So basically, she was getting freaked out. There's some people that argue that she moved a couple of different times during that time period of like all these
Hmm.
stalker calls. I haven't found anything else to really like verify that information. Um, and like I said, this caller really knew everything about her. So what she was wearing every single day, her exact whereabouts, like almost like this person had her tapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because she was so afraid, her parents were like, you need to get a gun. You need to be able to defend yourself. But she said, I'm not buying a gun because I don't trust my son to be in a home with a weapon
Yeah.
and something to happen. He hurt himself. She would never be able to live with herself.
Right.
So she started taking karate lessons. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
she started taking them only 1 week before she disappeared.
Damn.
Yeah. So let's talk about the day of or the night of her disappearance. So she disappeared from the UC Irvine Medical Center in the early morning hours of May 28th, 1980.
Hmm.
So she was attending an employee meeting previous to this. So it was early in the evening. She had worked at one of those shops. They had a staff meeting where they were chit-chatting, and she noticed one of her coworkers, Conrad Bostrom, was acting a little strange. So his arm was swollen. He looked like he'd been sweating. He just didn't feel good. You could tell he looked unwell.
Hmm.
And it looked like he had a bug bite on his arm, and they were like, something's not right.
Right.
So Dorothy insisted on taking Conrad to the hospital to have his bite looked at because she was concerned that it was poisonous or infected. You know, something obviously wasn't right with him because he was acting weird. And so another coworker, Pam Head, who was 18 at the time, offered to accompany them to the hospital. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So on the way to the hospital, Dorothy made a quick stop at her parents' house where she dropped off her son, Sean, because Sean was, with her at the time of this meeting, I believe, and then went said, okay, like, let me take you to my parents' house. They can babysit, and I'll take you to the hospital. Um, so original reports and articles state that she stopped by the house to check on her son, but they're saying that an interview from or with Pam Head, the actual coworker, that Sean was with them at the meeting.
Okay.
So after dropping off Sean at the house, what's it called? Oh, so let me make a note. So they're at the house dropping off Sean, and her mom convinces her to change her outfit a little bit. So she was originally, oh, I see a cat. She was originally wearing a black scarf as a warmer, and she changed it to a red scarf. This will come
Okay.
into play later on. Basically, this becomes, like I said, important later on because once they get to the hospital, oh, that was the cat.
Sorry. Yeah.
No shame. So once they get to the hospital, Pam and Dorothy were watching TV. They flipped through magazines. They were hanging out while Conrad was getting seen by the doctors.
Hmm.
And Conrad was had ended up being bit by a black widow spider.
Oh,
So
shit.
thank God that they took him to the hospital to get him treated, get him taken care of. But he
Yeah.
didn't really get discharged until after 11 p.m.
Right.
So at this point, basically, Dorothy is like, I'll drive you guys home because my car's here in the parking lot. I'll go to my
Hmm.
car. I'll meet you guys at the front, whatever. So she was driving a white 1973 Toyota station wagon. And she had said, I'll meet you guys right here at the exit or the entrance, essentially, to the hospital because Conrad and Pam were going to get his medications from the pharmacy in the hospital and then meet them there because she also didn't want him having to walk far because he obviously was probably doped up on meds.
Right. Yeah.
So Pam and Conrad are standing at the front door. They don't see her. They're like, huh, this is weird. So then they go around sort of towards like the parking lot area and they wait for a few minutes and they see a car matching Dorothy's description speed past them.
Okay.
So they're trying to wave her down and get her attention to be like, hey, hello, we're over here, we moved, but the car doesn't slow down. Also, the car has its high beams on, you can't see inside of it, and the car completely drives through the stop sign and does like a hard veer right out of the parking lot of the hospital and takes off down the road.
Hmm.
So they don't see who's in the vehicle. They're working under the assumption that it's Dorothy and that maybe something happened to Sean, her son.
Okay.
So they waited almost 2 hours for her to come back. Because again, this isn't a time where you could text somebody and say, hey, sorry, something came up. But they were very concerned because they thought something had happened to Sean. Never heard from her. Okay. So after the car didn't return, basically they called Dorothy's parents' house to see if she'd returned home.
Hmm.
And they all said, no, she's not here. What do you mean? I thought she was with you. So basically, Pam and Conrad were like, something's not right. We need to call the police. So
Right.
they call the police and alert them to what has happened. Um, and there's like a quote saying that Pam didn't think that the police were taking it seriously or not. Because they sort of like came out, checked the scene. They were like, well, maybe the person just left you here.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. Anyways, that is the last time anyone sees her alive. Okay.
Yeah.
So what does this look like then?
Hmm.
Um, about 4 hours later, so approximately 4:30 in the morning, a resident called the police to report smoke in an alleyway. And this is where Dorothea Scott's car was found. It was engulfed in flames. There was no
Shit.
sign of Dorothy or anyone else. And it says Sergeant Bob Taft, the current cold case investigator assigned to Dorothy's case, said it was evident that whoever left the vehicle there was in a hurry. The headlights were still on and the driver's side door was open. A gas canister was found in the trunk of Dorothy's car. It was determined to be the accelerant that had been put on the passenger side of the car. The outer front of the car was left pretty much intact, but the interior of the car was completely destroyed.
Mm.
So people immediately started looking around the crime scene, looking at the parking lot for the hospital, things like that. They found a pack of cigarettes, but they believed it wouldn't have been hers because she never smoked. And also, this is the 80s, so they probably weren't taking those things into consideration as much as they probably should have.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Other things, nothing really looked like foul play was involved, which probably doesn't help the fact that the cops were like, okay, well, we have no reason to believe that she was kidnapped or X, Y, and
Mhm.
Z. Because they also didn't really take the phone calls too seriously,
Yeah.
which is messed up, but I digress. So, to sort of help in the case, basically the police were like, we're going to keep this quiet. We're not going to publicize a lot of it because we don't want the guy who's stalking her to feed into it and or to know that we're on to them.
Right.
But what's even worse is that the phone calls didn't stop.
Mhm.
So Dorothy's mom received a phone call at her house, which is Vera,
Mhm.
and she answered the phone and said, and the caller asked, "Are you related to Dorothy Scott?" When she
Mhm.
replied yes, the caller simply said, "I've got her," and hung up.
Jesus.
So 2 weeks go by, no more leads. And they start to post in the local newspaper. They
Yeah.
say, they talked about her disappearance, the vehicle she was driving on that day. And they also offered a $2,500 reward for anyone that had information regarding her disappearance and what happened to her.
Okay.
Um, so the same day, the managing editor of that newspaper received a call while sitting in the newsroom. And the caller had said that he had kidnapped Dorothy Jane Scott. The editor, Santa Ana, or Pat Riley, excuse me, Riley stated that the caller had said, "She was my love. I caught her cheating with another man. She denied having someone else. I killed her."
Oh my God.
Riley said that she felt the man was very genuine in the way he was speaking and that this wasn't a hoax caller. Riley also said that the man shared information about the kidnapping that wasn't known to the general public yet. It said that the man knew Dorothy was at the hospital with a coworker who had a spider bite and that she was wearing a red scarf. He had also said that Dorothy had called him that night to tell him she was at the medical center, but Pam Head told the investigators that Dorothy had never left her side while they were at the hospital. So remember, that's the coworker.
Yeah.
Um, so where this gets a little weird or murky is because the person who called and talked about the red scarf had to have known that she changed her outfit after the meeting, but prior to arriving at the hospital. So that
Mhm.
also leads credibility to the caller being the actual the killer
Yeah.
or the kidnapper, I should say. So not much goes on from here except for the continuation of the phone calls. So this person continues to call their house, her parents' house, over and over again and continually changes the story basically. So it's always from the same individual. The calls usually came on Wednesday afternoon
Mhm.
and they continued for 4 years.
And the cops just did nothing.
So the police installed a recording device to monitor the calls, but the individual knew to hang up before the calls could be traced.
Mhm.
Um, and they didn't have the technology at the time to really
Yeah.
pull that information.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the caller only spoke to Vera, her mom.
Mhm.
And the last time that he called or the last time that they picked up the call, it was her father who answered.
Mm.
So it was in April of 1984 when Jacob, her dad, had finally answered the phone when the man called one evening. He immediately hung up and the calls had stopped. Again, remember the calls had always just said that he had Dorothy or that he had killed her, blah, 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 blah. And after all of this, they never really got closure based on the phone calls or who the person was. Like they never even had
Mhm.
a chance to have a conversation with the guy.
Right.
So everything sort of came to a head in August 6th of 1984 when her remains were found.
Mm.
So a foreman of a construction company who was preparing to dig a trench for Pacific Bell telephone lines found the charred remains of a dog off of the Santa Ana Canyon Road. Upon further investigation, human remains were also found next to the dog. So the
Okay.
foreman told the newspaper that he had joked just minutes prior to his backhoe operator about watching out for dead bodies.
Oh, good.
And it says that it was partial remains. It was not a full set of remains, but the skull with the dental records confirmed that they were the remains of Dorothy Jane Scott.
Mhm.
A turquoise ring and a small wristwatch were also found near her body, and her mother identified those as her personal belongings. So they don't really have any connections between the dog and Dorothy, and they don't really have any way to get a timeline of when she had passed or what had happened to her because so much time had passed.
Was
You got to think.
she
Go ahead.
like charred? Like were her remains charred too, or?
So her remains were partially charred, but the
Hmm.
reason why they believe that is because there was a brush fire in that area like
Okay.
months prior to them finding her.
Okay.
They think that, um, I mean, the storyline that they're believing is that she was killed the same night that she was taken.
Right.
And another thing that's sort of creepy that you think about it is so her wristwatch had stopped at 12:30 a.m. on March
Hmm.
29th, 1980, which was just 1 hour after she was last seen alive.
Mm.
So people speculate like on Reddit and things that the person purposely stopped her watch at that time, sort of like as like a fu slash like puzzle piece to the storyline. Yeah,
Okay. Was it a digital watch? I assume
it was like it was a wristwatch that had the
the
no,
date.
it was the date. It was the analog, but it had the date as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it has like then
Yes.
and have
Yeah. Has. Yep.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
very scientific explanation, guys. You're welcome.
Yes. Very good.
So basically, we're not quite sure how long the calls continued after that. Because remember, I said they stopped, but
Hmm.
then after her remains were found, and I think the public found out about it, the caller had called back and said, "Is Dorothy home now? Did you bring her home?"
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. And it's pretty fucked up too, because you got to think like this was 1984 that she was found, and they never got any information, more
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
And so her parents passed away, obviously, several years later in different times. And her son had to grow up without his mom, and also such a traumatic, like, circumstance to live with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about potential suspects. So suspects are going to be like super out there
Yeah.
because they're very outlandish, but we're going to go through them anyways. First suspect is going to be Sean's father, which was Dennis Terry.
Hmm.
So police were like quick to question Sean's father in connection with her disappearance. Because of the recent argument about child custody, it was always possible that his anger and his desire to have custody sort of led him to go off the rails and take Dorothy out of the way.
Hmm.
Um, there's no real proof connecting her to the disappearance, and he has an alibi for the time period, etc. So that didn't really pan out.
Yeah.
Next is going to be an individual known as Mike Butler. So Mike Butler was a known acquaintance of Dorothy's. He worked at an auto body shop across the street from where Dorothy worked. Again, she was working at the Swingers Psych Shop and the Custom John's Head Shop. So Anthony Sherlock, who is like reported and blogged on this whole entire case, like has a ton of information out there, said that Butler is actually the brother of one of Dorothy's coworkers.
Okay.
Okay, so Dorothy and Mike were friendly. They never really had any sort of romantic involvement. She seems like the type of person that would just be like nice to everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like friendly, smiling, whatever. Um, and he was questioned after she disappeared. And I guess he like hinted that he sort of was infatuated with her, like he wanted to ask her out, but that never turned into anything after the
Yeah.
fact. But this sort of like this theory does help you understand, okay, he knew her comings and goings because he worked in the store across the street from her. Um, you know, that's probably like the best way to it's either that or a coworker, you know what I mean? Like the people that are
Yes.
going to know
Yeah.
your schedule more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Another big potential suspect would be John Kikola, who's the owner and the
Yep.
manager of the stores where she worked.
Yeah.
So apparently, again, this is going based on Anthony Sherlock, who is the person who did the investigation, like did his own investigation of all this stuff. I have his blog post, you can read them. He did a shit ton of research on this.
Yeah.
Basically, the land where Dorothy's remains were found were supposedly owned by John.
Yeah.
So if he did kill her and leave her there, then he probably assumed that maybe animals, Mother Nature would take over, take care of the rest of it. She'd never be found again.
Hmm.
Um, and he was also one of the only people to know where she was going that night because they left the meeting early purposely to take Conrad to the hospital. So
Right.
John had to approve them leaving.
Hmm.
Um, Also, years after her death, so in 1996, John was arrested and indicted on federal charges related to tax evasion. And somebody theorized that could Dorothy have known about his money issues because she was his bookkeeper
Yeah.
and that he took care of business to
By
get away with it.
stalking her.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So again, uh there's no real
Resolution.
resolution to this case. It's sort of
Yeah.
just like speculation, trying to figure out who did what could have happened.
Hmm.
I think the whole thing's pretty fucked up, especially because they kept calling even after like she'd been for
That's
four
what's
years.
worse. Yeah.
Anyone picking up the phone for 4 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't even
Yeah.
imagine that.
No.
What do you think happened?
Oh, I have no idea. Like I can't like this reminds me so much of Cindy James though.
Yeah.
I think so. You don't think so? I
No,
mean
I'm
like a
saying yeah, I
little
agree with
different.
you. I had to think
Yeah.
about it for a
Same
second.
same timeline too. 80s.
That
Really
must have been
sad.
why I asked you if we had covered this.
Yeah. Even as you were telling it, I was like, this is starting to sound super familiar.
Isn't that crazy
Um,
though?
yeah, so I'm like that. I even like just looked up, I was just looking up like where was Cindy James again?
Where was
Um,
Cindy James?
Canada. So
Oh,
not
okay.
not even the same. But I did want to point out that the stalking laws weren't enacted until 1990. So police, I think I've said that before, but like police just didn't, and this is in California, I mean, but um
They didn't
yeah, they
really know
just
what to
didn't take
do.
it. Well, they still don't know what to do.
I mean, I agree with you, but I'm
And
not saying that right now. I'm just
I'll
saying.
say it.
You say it.
And I wow, there has to be something like a shred of evidence, but it feels like there's literally nothing.
Supposedly, they have the recordings of all of the phone calls he made after the police
That's
got involved.
useless.
I mean, you would think maybe they would be able to like do some better tracking of like I'm saying with today's technology. You know what I
I
mean?
don't know. I think without like having actual physical evidence, that it would be really, really difficult. I would assume that the person is dead or gonna be dead soon,
Oh yeah, but I also can't
you know?
imagine for 4 years you didn't know where she was and you just kept receiving these calls. Like that's horrifying.
I
How do you have one moment
also
of peace?
You don't. Even after that, you never would. Every time the phone rings, even 10 years later. You know what I mean? You would, that's psychological torture. That was the whole thing with Cindy James, where people were like, was it a suicide? Was it not? And it's like, no, regardless, that's torture. Years and years of just, oh my God, I
It's
can't
just
even
so messed up.
imagine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrifying. Ugh, I
So
really
happy
want to
thoughts.
know. Yeah, I'm like, no, we got to figure it out, Grace. What do you think happened? What do you think?
Listen, I went down a rabbit hole on Reddit.
Yeah.
And I think it is somebody that knows her.
Hmm.
Not saying that she was friends with them, but maybe it was like a super friendly client. But you got to think she wasn't really in the front of the store often. She was more of the accounts handling person. And, I went down this rabbit hole where this person went on this whole theory about how it could have been like one of the delivery people for the business. And then I was like, that doesn't make sense because how would they know? And also they had to get her phone number. I guess
Oh,
phone
it's
books
the
existed.
80s. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
never
saying. Like
mind.
the phone would have been all, but the thing is, if it's someone that she was seeing all the time, you think that she wouldn't know to recognize their voice?
No, I'm not saying that she knew all the time. I'm saying that she made an impact on this person, meeting him once.
Oh yeah, it just
And
takes a split
then,
second. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like, I wouldn't be able to pick out anyone's voice in a lineup, probably. Like, I'm horrible at that type of stuff. Like, if you're not actively thinking about who the voice is, like, it's not easy.
No, if someone was calling every day, like saying these things
I don't
and you
know.
knew them, you would.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
would recognize your voice.
Because I
You
sound like an 80-year-old smoking 10 packs of cigarettes a day.
You would definitely recognize people's voice.
I don't know. But it's also crazy too. You've got to think that the person, I mean, this is one of my theories is that they continued to follow the parents a little bit because he knew to always call when her mom was
Hmm.
home.
Yeah, and you have to think this isn't the only person that person did this to. Like, you think
Oh,
just
yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
and done? You know what I mean? Like, no way, no way,
Mm-mm. Nope.
no way.
I don't believe it.
Mm-mm.
So happy thoughts. Sorry.
Wow, this is you did a good job.
Thank you. I felt like I just rambled, guys. So if I rambled, my bad.
Mm-mm. You're always very linear with your
It's
storytelling, so
the
you're
uh
good.
it's the
Head cold.
head cold medication I just took. And my cat biting my ankles currently.
A little ankle biter.
He is. He's like, oh my god, she feels better. Is she gonna play with me? My house looks like a bomb
Never.
went off, but
It's
what
okay, we
else is
can't
new?
see it.
Yeah, I blurred out the background for a reason. Suckers.
You don't have like a stray hair this time sticking straight up.
It's there.
Yeah, but last time you had like
Don't worry,
a
guys. I'm getting my
few.
hair done tomorrow.
So exciting. Anything fun or just the huge?
Maybe I'll shave it off. Who knows, guys?
Okay,
Tune in
stay
next week
tuned,
to find
guys.
out.
Yeah, that's right. Goodbye.
With that being said, if you don't follow us already, you should. And if you
Yep.
are listening to this on Spotify, you can also watch us on YouTube.
Hmm.
Our YouTube tag is Wait for Real Pod, and our social media tag is at Wait for Real Pod.
Hmm.
So follow, subscribe, like, comment, rate, all those things. Do all the
Yep.
things that are positive impacts on our lives, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Also, if you want to follow us, like I said, on social media and you want to
Hmm.
reach out to us and tell us what your thoughts are on this story or any of the other stories we've covered, or you have some scary stories to tell us that we could tell during spooky season, please, please, please send them to us. We also have our email, which is waitforrealpod@gmail.com. Katie checks that, so please send her a letter. She needs it.
Yes. Please.
If you want to try to help us out monetarily, because say you just have an extra $20 laying around, you can follow the link in our show notes and it says buy us a cup of coffee
Hmm.
and we will buy coffee with it or a lighthouse or a castle. Depends on what we're going for every day.
Yeah.
Um, what else?
I think that's it.
There's also a way to send us a text in our show notes too, but
Yes. We
it's weird
can't
because
text
we
you
can't
back.
text you
We
back.
can't text you back. So sorry.
There's a lot of user error in there and the users are us, so we don't know
We
what's happening.
no, it's the
I
platform.
know.
It's not
She's
us, okay?
Yeah, but I think that's everything,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Follow us, like us, pretty please.
Come back next week.
Positive thoughts only. Yeah,
Tell
come
your
back next week to see
friends.
if I have
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we'll leave it as always.
Go to therapy.
And don't forget to leave the lights on.